Truth, lies,
Chat.
shenanigans.
All right. So the Supreme Court recently ruled against the use of race as a factor in college admissions, in essence, eliminating affirmative action. Now, they cited the 14th Amendment's Equal Protection Clause, basically indicating that affirmative action is itself racist. And some are saying this ruling will lead to what they're calling true equality. And where apparently students are evaluated based upon their individual experiences and achievements and not their race. Others are saying the ruling is an assault on diversity and groups of people that have been marginalized in this country. And the ruling is already having impact on financial aid considerations based on race. So the question
Yikes.
is this ruling right? Is it time to move towards a society where race doesn't play a role in opportunities and access? Or are we not there yet? And instead, this ruling will lead to more racial disparity. Johnny, we'll start with you.
I mean, your last question hit the nail on the head. But I'm slightly torn because, to be technical, if you take away affirmative action, in a sense, what they're saying is everyone has an equal, like an even playing field. That's what it should be.
Mhm.
But however, there's still groups, like there's still racial groups in this country that are affected by systemic racism. So I want to agree that if we step away from affirmative action and certain, certain affirmative action for like jobs and school tuition and things like that, I want to step into that, but I just don't think we're ready.
Out of curiosity,
We still
did
have
you get any race-based help when you were in college, like financial aid or
not
anything like that?
not that I can. No, not scholarships, right? Like you're
Scholarships,
talking about like
right?
free. Oh, no,
Scholarships or
no,
financial aid for
no, no, no.
minorities or anything like that? Okay.
Shoot, I wish. It's like, um, but no, I did
Okay.
not. But I
I
can see
did.
how.
I will say I did.
Oh, see, it's so helpful. Like I would want it. I don't care. I would want that. And I
Mhm.
think that I think many people, like I said, we're not finished. We haven't completed racism, so to speak. Like racism is still happening. It's
Oh,
still in our
absolutely.
system. We're not going to completely end it before things like this happen, but we can at least, I don't know, target. Maybe we can target specific things and use affirmative action on specific things, not just race. Like maybe we can use it on people that are poor or
Yeah.
people that are like,
Well, it's saying
you know,
affirmative action is illegal now. So,
yeah,
but Rob, what do you think?
we can rearrange it though.
Oh, rearrange it. Oh,
Yeah.
see that you're getting to what I'm talking about when I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I can't really put myself in those shoes because I mean, ethnically, okay, I'm francophone. So
Yeah.
in Canada, that has afforded me some assistance as far as my post-secondary education is concerned.
Some privilege.
But yeah, so I know that affirmative action has its share of supporters and critics. And when I read both camps, there are valid points in both camps.
Sure.
But as far as the school is concerned, like any organization that is working towards equity needs to constantly review its programs and policies to ensure that they're meeting the needs of the community that they intend to service, right? So it's
Right.
impossible to fully appreciate every applicant's experience and perspectives while turning a blind eye to race and ethnicity. It, each individual has to be evaluated because we want to create opportunities for everyone. Um, and let's not forget that whether and wherever these types of scholarships are available, there will always be someone who's trying to access those funds unscrupulously. So
Hmm.
there needs to be a really fair playing field. There needs to be clear cut rules and
Yeah.
guidelines. Yeah.
That's a good
So, I
point.
mean, the university wants to comply with the SCOTUS ruling, so which suggests that race should not be a determining factor in awarding scholarships. But the change is definitely a significant step toward promoting equality and fairness in the allocation of financial aid. But this is the lens of a Canadian white guy, so I can't speak to your experience or fully appreciate it. So this is
But
one of
your
the things I love about
objective
the
view
show.
is good.
Yeah.
Your objective
Mm.
view is good.
So,
Like if you
so as I said, I mean, I got financial assistance to go to school. Well, it wasn't financial assistance. I got considered for the school I went to because they were looking for diversity. So there,
Okay.
it had something to do with affirmative action. So it wasn't financial assistance based on being a minority, but I was
Preference.
considered. I got your preference exactly. Now it helped me. I mean, it helped a lot because I couldn't have afforded it otherwise. I couldn't have. I may or may not have
Yeah.
gotten accepted otherwise. You know, if it
Mhm.
wasn't for affirmative action. So it was helpful considering I had good grades and everything, so that helped as well. But
Yeah.
but otherwise I
Your
might not have got
performance.
it. Now, so on the surface, this is my thought. On the
Yeah.
surface, Supreme Court's ruling makes sense, right? If we're aiming for true equality, then we've got to stop making race-based considerations. Just reality. We'll never get past race as a social construct until we stop labeling people and then trying to fit them into boxes solely based upon the way we look. Right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
It's just not going to happen. But here's the thing, and this is why affirmative action was helpful for me. And this is the reason it was put
Mhm.
in place to level the playing field for communities that historically have not had access to resources and education because of their race. This country has been a racist country for many, many years. Slavery to civil rights era to Jim Crow. And our community, the Black community specifically, was held back, right? And
Mhm.
we've not had the resources and education because of race. Like we had
Yeah.
Carlotta Walls Lanier of the Little Rock Nine on our show just a couple of years ago, a couple of seasons ago, talking about her horrific experience trying to integrate, trying to get equal access to
Yeah.
education. That
That
was
was
just
crazy.
one generation ago.
Yeah. Yep.
Not to mention, it didn't completely work because what ended up happening is they finagled school boundaries to be based on neighborhoods you lived in, which were themselves
Exactly.
segregated. So, although
Yep.
you technically were integrated, you ended up with mostly Black schools and mostly white schools.
Anyway. Exactly.
Now,
Exactly. Good point.
now,
Mhm.
gentrification has changed some things right now. So, things are a little bit better. You
Yeah.
know, now, they were saying that these could lead to more merit based systems where students were rewarded for their hard work and determination, blah, blah, blah,
Well, how do
blah.
you?
But
I
to
don't.
Gianni's point, when you have a country with disparities in childhood education, all school has to do is skew their admission requirements so they better fit specific racial groups and ethnic groups, and then the anti-discrimination law is simply not strong enough to counter the effects of those racist people
Mhm.
finagling the system, right?
Yeah.
Which is why affirmative action was so valuable. The
Yeah.
systemic problems haven't been resolved. And
No.
without
Which is interesting
without
that they
affirmative action,
even.
we can't hold them accountable. Go ahead, Johnny.
Why are they even? And I didn't do my research in looking up why this is even a case, but why is affirmative action even being up to up for consideration to
That's a good
be
question.
eliminated? Like that's so disgusting.
One of the
What
bases is that
progress
they're
have
saying
we made?
affirmative. They're saying that affirmative action is racist in and of itself because it's
Oh, okay,
exclusionary.
you did say
Yeah, I
that.
mean there
You
there've
did
been
mention.
lawsuits throughout. I mean, since affirmative action was instituted,
Okay,
where white
people
people
fighting again.
or people who felt that they were, not considered or did not have an opportunity because, or they felt that, they were qualified, fully qualified, and someone who may not have had the same educational requirements or meet the admission requirements, but were
Yeah,
given preferential treatment because they were Black or Hispanic or whatever. So
right.
basically, if you have, let's say, 100 slots for a show for uh, a school, right, for admissions for one semester, 1 year, you know, some people were left out, and some people were given preferential treatment who should not have been necessarily in that school. I mean, so
I
there's
feel
been
like more people in this country benefit more from being white than they do from affirmative action. So I just don't understand why it's
and
even
and
up
that's
for.
what it was about. It was about leveling the playing field, and you know that's what affirmative
But
action
that's
did, and it helped. It helped because there's a
yeah,
lot of people that otherwise would not have gone to college and finished school. Black people, Hispanic people that otherwise would not have had the money, the means, the resources, or even the ability to be accepted at some of these Harvard and all these other schools, um,
without it. Yeah.
without it. just because we
Okay.
didn't have the same educational resources in our neighborhoods that other schools did. And so we were able to get a better education going to these colleges, and then we were able to then do well now in society. So people my age, my era, who benefited from affirmative action, now you're seeing some equality or something closer to equality, but that was because of
Sure.
affirmative action. So,
That's true.
and
Thank
my
you for
thoughts.
that,
So
Neil.
basically, I think we have to find. Unfortunately, this is a reality now. So we just have to find other ways to hold schools accountable. That's what we're gonna have to do. All right, a lot of comments online. Let me try to get to some of these comments. I know we're over on time.
That's
Olivia, so
crazy.
college doesn't review
This
every
is crazy.
application. I thought they did. Financial aid, I understand about being accepted, about grades. Let's see. Jacqueline Robinson's Justice Jackson's dissent hit the nail on the head. In application, we know that we are a long way from race not being used to determine who gets in schools where people live and whether they are hired. This ruling was a cynical ploy over 40 years in the making, and as quiet as it's kept, white women were the primary beneficiaries of affirmative action. That's actually a good point. She also says the same folks are quite silent about legacy admissions of less qualified applicants, right? Because their parents donated millions of dollars to institutions.
Yep.
Exhibit A, Jared Kushner, and of course, Donald Trump and the Bushes.
Everybody who has power in this
There's quite
country.
a few. All right. Is this truth, lies, shenanigans?
This is an unfortunate truth. First, the abortion thing. Let me stop. Right.
The abortion thing. Yeah, they got rid of
Some tail
abortion.
feathers.
Yeah.
Which, not saying
Truth.
we're not going to talk about it, but I just feel like this country is changing dramatically. Like, things are just majorly shifting within our laws. So it's interesting to see. We're going to see how it
I will
turns.
say it's hard to argue their choices of overturning some of these things because
Yeah.
based upon legal, we shouldn't be deciding things based upon race legally. I mean, the whole
Right.
purpose of the civil rights laws and anti-discrimination laws was so that things weren't decided based on race. Fortunately, we were trying to play catch up also, so you had to kind of balance the two. So legally speaking, they're right, I'd say. But
Legally.
we still got to play that catch up. That's the problem. All right,
Yeah.
Rob B, let's get to your topic. You've got some things to talk about with this drink.
Oh,
Gonna do this quick.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna have to make it very quick.